And Rod Brind'Amour, still the head coach of your Carolina Hurricanes. Congratulations on the extension. There should be some sort of an unveiling. You and Don should take a picture of a framed copy of it. That would be cool.
Do you think? I don't think anybody wants to see that.
It all depends on the artwork. The players do those bits at the beginning of the season where they kids draw pictures. You could have, I don't know, like Brent Burns draw a picture of the contract.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm up for anything, but I don't think that's selling too much. So let's move on. Move on.
That's fine. Just to the contract, not maybe the contract itself, but and why you're still the head coach of the Hurricanes and why somebody hasn't come and bought you away from this organization like everybody in the national media seemed to think was going to happen over the last several weeks. Why here, and why aren't you open to something else like that?
Well, it got to a point where I was worried that was gonna happen. I'll be honest. I mean, it took a little longer than I was, hoping. But Donnie and I worked this out in September. To be honest, we had this done. It was easy, and then kind of hit a snag. I think Tom was a little shy on the sticker price, but we worked that out. I've said it to you many times. It's just I can't envision myself doing this anywhere else. This is in my blood, and these guys mean too much to me. And I've heard you talk, I think last summer, maybe about even Jordan Stahl, and I was going to coach till he was done, and
right.
It didn't really. I never really thought about that, and then when you said it, I'm kind of like, I can't not coach that guy. It'd be absolutely doesn't. I can't even think about coaching another team and then coaching against him. It wouldn't make sense to me, So not when I have the opportunity to. Let's put it that way. And so this is the group, obviously, the organization that I've grown in, and it's in my life and blood. So I couldn't do the job somewhere else. I don't think it's the same way. And I'm happy to get this opportunity. Obviously, this year, it was gut wrenching this year for me. Every year seems to be, but this year was a little more so, just because we always say that. I always feel like we have the group to do it. I just felt like we did, and obviously it didn't work out. But I want to keep pounding the door with these guys.
All right, we're gonna get to pounding the door with these guys in a second, but where we live, and we've got K. Yao Court, we've got Coach K Court, we've got Roy Williams Court, the three legends here. And how about, because you don't want a street, and I think you're probably also anti-statue. What if we just call it Rod Brind'Amour Ice, and we just put like your picture in the defensive zone, maybe just in the face-off circles, just your picture right there. Would that be okay?
Well, I appreciate that. I mean, I probably should have had you work on my deal. Would have been a lot easier. But you know what? Listen, I'll tell you what. If we can ever pound the door down and get through it, then I'm open for any of that.
Okay.
Let's just leave it at that.
All right, good. All right, now let's get back to why this was so gut-wrenching for you. And without, getting into maybe some specifics, although I think we should get into some, do you feel like this series against the Rangers not was lost, but lost control of early when, certainly in games 2 and 3? I mean, that should have been at least one, maybe even wins in both of those games.
No, we can look back at every game and probably say something like that, especially on the ones you lose anyway. I mean, that's the one thing about our group is we come ready to play every night, and that's one of the things I'm most proud of is, like, we're in every game regardless. And, we just, like I said, we just seem to lately, the last couple of years anyway, not been able to get that next play or something's happened that just hasn't quite worked out in these big games, or that's been the difference. But I'm proud of the group because I feel like we got everything out of them, and nobody's walking out of the rink going, well, I didn't give enough. And so are we not good enough to beat the top teams? Maybe. But I feel like we're right there. And, all I can ask for from the guys is give me all you got. And I feel like they do that every night. So can we do better? Yes. Can we keep working on it? I thought we did this year. I thought we took some strides in areas. And we just got to keep pounding.
Your power play was second best in the NHL during the regular season. Penalty kill was best in the NHL during the regular season. And those are two areas that I know you would have liked to have had perform better at the beginning of the series. Although I thought the penalty kill really after game one was really good against the Rangers. They scored 3 times, but they were just kind of a lot of rebounds, maybe, cover a puck here or there. And if you get one power play goal in game two, you probably win that game. And if you get one, if you don't give up the shorthanded goal in game 3, you probably win that game. Did any player after, let's just say, did Sebastian, what were your conversations like with Sebastian after the series?
Well, I met with him yesterday. I mean, it's we're all in the same. Like, I haven't slept yet. I mean, everybody's still sick about it, but you got to at some point turn the page and figure out how we're gonna get better. And right now, it's really tough because of all the uncertainty with the group. So that's a big concern. But I think he knows he's got to be a little bit better. I mean, we all got to, if we can find a way to just keep getting a little bit better, then maybe that's the difference. But again, it's not a lack of will or a lack of effort from him, and that's the part that you can appreciate. So, I mean, he feels like I do, and very, very disappointed in how it ended. And I think that's good though. It's gotta hurt, right? It's okay to hurt for a little while, because then it means we certainly care about what's going on, and we all have the same goal. And you know what? But I guess maybe it's today, maybe it's tomorrow. We got to really turn the page and figure out how we can get through.
When will you turn the page?
I said I was going to already have done it, but I clearly haven't, because we're talking about it. And it's well,
I mean, if I wasn't bringing it up, would you be thinking about it?
Yeah, I will. That's why I don't even. I can't help myself but watch the games that are on still. Because there's really nothing else on. That's really what it is at night. I'm like, well, I got to do it. But I don't want to watch it. Right. Because it is kind of painful. When it's all over, it's really when you turn the page, because you're still trying to pick up things. And, you'll watch, especially in 7-game series, because you can really see the adjustments and how, little things we even tried doing and how it might work, not work. Other teams do it. And that's where you actually can really, I think, learn. And so you're going to watch, but when it's all over is when you really can turn the page and focus on, next year.
Rob Brind'Amour is joining us on the screen. It says, and still Carolina Hurricanes head coach, and multi-year deal. I like the sound of that, which means more than one. But I'm going to go back to what I said last year. Jordan Stahl's got 3 more years left of his contract. I will say it's at least 3 more years. By the way, welcome to Wrexham. Season 3 is starting, so if you wanted to binge watch, seasons 1 and 2 to get you up to speed, if you're looking for something to do.
Is it on Netflix? What's it on?
It's no, you could just get it on. It's on Hulu.
Okay.
Yeah. So there you go. You could do that.
And my aunt still came from my MMA stuff, so you can always watch. There's always UFC fights, Rod.
do you like UFC?
I can't watch that. I can't watch that stuff. That freaks me out. Guys beating their brains in, and that's legit fighting right there. I mean, no thanks.
Well, bare knuckle fighting is starting to become a big thing again too. Let me ask you a specific thing, and then we'll move on to a couple of players I want to ask you about before we have to say goodbye. Rob Brind'Amour is with us here on the Adam Gold Show. Did you, at 3-2 in Game 6, consider making a goalie switch?
Not at 3-2. No, definitely not. I mean, it was a bad goal. We know that. He knows it. Can't happen, right?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it did, and that's probably what flipped the whole thing. Because the next goal was legit. I mean, that tip goal.
Yeah.
That there's nothing you can do about that. Is it a bad call? Potentially.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that goes into a whole nother, discussion. The flopping that's gone on in the NHL now. Unfortunately, it gets called. So why wouldn't you? And so can't even blame that player for doing it. But anyway, that's a good goal. And then the last one is the one little breakdown we had, and it's in the net. So it wasn't even a bad period. We came out in that period playing lights out. I think Martinook hits the goal post. There was a lot of Aho has a breakaway.
Yep.
That's why it's crazy game. So that's why when I look back, I can't get, I got to make sure I stay, focused on what really happened in that game and not, I hear people talking about, you got to change all this stuff. Do you really? Like, we gave up 23 shots, right? Like, against a pretty good team. And so there's things we got to get better, but you got to be careful about blowing everything up. And I've seen that happen, and that doesn't work either.
I asked Sebastian about that breakaway, and I said, so what happened on it? He goes, I just missed the net. I said, were you trying to do exactly what you did in the first period? Because he went high. Normally, he surprised us by going high because normally he tries to go 5-hole. But he went high and he scored to restore to a 2-goal lead. And he goes, yeah, I was trying to do the same thing, but I just missed the net. I thought he had him beat, but he just missed the net. Jordan Stahl had a top of the crease opportunity right after that. I actually thought the first 5 minutes of the third period were arguably the best 5 minutes you played all game, and it didn't work out.
Yeah, well, I agree. So anyway, end of the day, it's going to go down as a loss, and
right.
Whether you lose in the first round or the fourth round, honestly, to me, I don't know. I don't really. You still didn't win, and that's where we're at right now. So we just gotta, I guess at some point here, like I said, turn the page and then get back to the drawing board and keep trying to get better.
All right, let me ask you about a couple of players. I want to start with Seth Jarvis, who had, when they talk about breakout years, sometimes they just talk about, oh man, he became an 80-point scorer. That really wasn't Seth this year. He did get over 30 goals, but boy, he looks like he is one of those players going forward because he can do so much. And who knew that he did it with a torn labrum and a torn rotator cuff? I don't even know what that says about like how good he could have been. I can't even imagine him being significantly better than he was this year. How do you put this year in perspective from his point of view?
Well, you kind of just summed it up. I mean, I think he, a young kid that has just continually got better, and that's what you want. And there's a reason he's gotten better, and maybe other guys haven't in other, just sports in general. There's a willingness to get better, and he's got good work ethic, and I think that's been the key. I mean, he came into this league no clue how to play defense, and now he's one of our best penalty killers, right? Mm-hmm. So that didn't just happen, right? That's because he said, "Hey, I want to kill penalties." Well, you got to figure it out, and he puts the time in, and he listens, right? Like there's coaches speak and we talk, and he takes it in, and then he goes out and he tries to apply it, and you've seen that over these last 3 years. And I think, everything you said about him, we love him, and if he can stay healthy, which he plays through injuries too, but if he can stay healthy, like I think he's got a whole another gear to get to, and hopefully we see it.
He just ho-hummed a rotator cuff and labrum injury. I mean, just kind of amazing. The example of Sebastian Aho playing in all situations and being so good defensively, and Aho took a big step in faceoffs, even though he had some bad games during the playoffs. Yeah. He was about 55% during the regular season in the faceoff circle. Is that example why Seth maybe embraced that so much?
I think that's a good point. No one's really ever brought that up. But I think when you watch your best player on your team do it a certain way, then what that's a pretty good way to follow, right? And we talk about our leadership group when everyone gets to see Jordo, how he handles himself, how he goes and prepares. That's a big thing that I think Aho has taken from. And so now we get that trickle-down effect. And certainly, you have to apply it. You have to recognize it and be willing to do it. But obviously, I think Seth is on his way to doing that.
All right, a couple of more players, then we'll let Rod go. Andrei Svechnikov. He told me yesterday that it took him a couple of months after the season started, really, before he felt. He said he didn't tell anybody because he didn't want to, but he said he could still feel that he wasn't quite all the way back at the beginning of the season. He said about 25 or so games. He had to deal with some, upper body stuff. He said oblique injuries, but we certainly saw the type of player he was capable of being later in the year into the playoffs. What's the next step for him?
Well, it's to protect. I would say the production to match the level of play.
Right.
That makes sense because you see it even in all the playoff games. I felt like he was maybe one of the best players on the ice, and yet, I think he ended up with 2 goals maybe in the playoffs, and one was a 6-on-5 goal, and one was a power play goal off their guy's stick. And so, if you just did it that way, you'd say, well, that's not matching how he's playing. So, you got to find a way to match that dominance that he kind of shows, and to the score sheet. And that if we can get that, then then we're rolling.
All right, finally, and you and I have talked about this. So, at the risk of being repetitive, Jordan Martinook showed up the same time as you did as a head coach. And while, you and Justin and Jordan Stahl, the culture is, I think he is as big a part of the culture as anything else. The way he plays and the energy and the leadership he shows. How important is it to you to have him part of this group going forward?
Yeah. Oh, I love him, and it's not just because of the history. It wouldn't matter if he'd just come here today or for a year. I'd want him back because he does embody everything that we're about, and the identity of our team is kind of really fits what he's all about. And he's one of the guys that started it all. So I'm hoping that we can get that one done for sure. I hope we can get all of them done. I know it's not a reality. Guys are got to take care of themselves, and teams are willing to go get 1 or 2 of our guys, right? It's just the way it's going to be. I know it, unfortunately, and we just got a salary cap. You can't keep everybody, so it's going to be tough days when we see some of these guys go, but hopefully Marty's one that we can retain.
All right. Now, last summer, and I didn't take advantage of this. Do you want to talk about other sports during the summer with me? You want to talk college football?
I've known you for a long time, and you've never actually come through with what you said. So whatever. That's an ongoing thing. It's in your court. We'll see.
I will hold him to it, Rod.
Right, that's fine.
We're doing this.
You know what? That is a fair criticism of me. So I'll just bug the heck out of you.
What's there to talk about in the summer, though? That's the problem.
Golf.
What are we talking
We
about?
have golf. We could talk about golf. We can talk about just the mechanisms and structure of college sports. You have thoughts on that?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I do. Different than yours, too, by the way.
Very, very different, and I am open to the back and forth.
All right. Let's do it.
All right. I'll talk to you later. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
See you guys.
You got it. Rod Brind'Amour here on the Adam Gold Show. That's very funny.
I love this idea.
But we have talked about it.
Yes.
Because I will go and I am way to the other side of a lot of people, right? I am very similar to where Jay Billis is in terms of paying players and the fact that they have been essentially screwed. And the universities have, I'm not going to say tried to keep the kids poor, which is, I think, also a fair way of phrasing it, but I don't think that's really been their mindset. It's that they believe that the money belongs to them, not to the product. And Rod is very much on the other side of that.
Yeah.
And I think that would be a fun conversation.
It would be.
He played college hockey.
Yes.
At Michigan State for a year. But yeah, we'll do that.
I love it.
But maybe we'll also talk golf, or we'll talk baseball, or we'll whatever.
Well, I guess we're not talking MMA, but that's okay.
that surprised me a little. I know he likes boxing.
Oh, well, what? That surprises me even more.
Boxing is different than MMA.
It is, but it's still violence.
It is violence. But it seems like it's violence with more rules.
I mean, well, there's more breaks. I will say in MMA, depending on your ref, there are definitely rules. There's more of an art form, too, when it comes to MMA. Big art form. There's ways of doing things. It's not bare knuckle boxing, because that is rough.
That stuff's
That
crazy.
is rough. That
Crazy.
might give you nightmares. You know what we should do? When you guys were talking about putting up a Rod statue, I immediately thought, why didn't they have Rod cookies? Like cookies with Rod's face on it at the
I'm surprised he went for the Rod's face in the face-off circle.
Yeah.
A picture of Rod Brind'Amour right there.
That'd be fantastic.
The entire circle is just a picture of Rod Brind'Amour.
Is it chewing gum, too? That'd be even
It would
better.
be. It would be a moving picture.